Exkluzív interjút adott a katonai sajtónak Adam Goodman. A Mid-Atlantic Films egyik tulajdonosának nevéhez olyan hollywoodi szuperprodukciók fűződnek, mint például a Die Hard sorozat hazánkban forgatott 5. része, amelyben a Magyar Honvédség helikopterei is feltűntek. Az angol filmproducert hazai forgatásokról, emlékezetes élményekről és olyan régebbi produkciókról is kérdeztük, mint például a Ryan közlegény megmentése, amelynek elkészítésében szintén közreműködött.
You know, when you live somewhere, like anything, when you live somewhere for so many years, it becomes home. And Budapest is very much, Hungary is very much my home. So in fact, when I go back to England, I feel like a tourist. And when I come here, when I come back, it's like coming home. So I think probably language is the only thing that I struggle with. In fact, when I first came to Hungary as a producer, I learned the most important phrase in Hungarian for a film producer, which was nincs túl sok pénzünk, which is we were negotiating a deal with my Hungarian colleagues, and they were talking in Hungarian. There was a translator, and obviously I didn't know what they were saying, but I could body language, I could guess, and my friend had taught me how to say it, and I said this to them, and they were suddenly beszélek magyarul, talán, maybe. So language definitely, but otherwise no, I love Hungary. When a big studio like Fox, Universal, MGM decide to make a movie, they do two things. They say, and not always at the same time, where's the best place to make the movie creatively, where has the best locations, the right locations, and where's the cheapest place to go. And Hungary, for me, strikes that balance. It strikes that balance between great infrastructure, and now great studios, world-class Hungarian crew that I would take anywhere in the world to make movies. And I think that balance is a very important one, and I think that has grown over the years. I did a film in Prague back in 2004, Alien versus Predator, and it was my first time in Prague, and I loved Prague, and I fell in love with Prague. It's a beautiful, romantic city, and great crew, great film crew. And Prague had been doing many big films for many years. And then I came here immediately afterwards, and I liked Hungary. I didn't have the immediate love affair that I had with Prague. It's just a different feeling. But then I grew to love two things. One is the Hungarian crew, which I know I've been quoted many times saying the same thing, but it is true, which is that the Hungarian crew say good morning to each other. They shake hands. They ask how you are to each other. In other places, it's a little more separated. There's not that same family feeling amongst crew, always. And as a producer, I like feeling part of a family on a film crew. And the Hungarian crew always made me feel like family. So that was a good thing. And the city has become, as we all know, over the years, more and more sophisticated, more and more interesting. It's always been interesting, but it's grown, it's evolved into a very vibrant, I think Budapest, particularly from spring to autumn, is one of the best places in Europe. I think it's just it's a great feeling when the sun shines, and there's just a wonderful feeling. So, you don't come to Budapest because of the sunshine or because of the cafes or because of the restaurants, but it's very interesting, and not many people understand or realize this, that when you decide where to make a movie, of course, where is it the cheapest and where is it the best place to make the movie? But if you have a Bruce Willis or a Keanu Reeves or a Nicolas Cage, you want them to feel comfortable in their home for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. And Budapest provides that comfort, that security. I don't mean security from being safe, security as in feeling like they could be in Paris, they could be in Rome, they could be in London. So Budapest provides a very secure, comfortable feeling for big Hollywood directors and actors. In Hungary, for me, each film has its highs and its lows. But as far as a high, I would have to say, standing on Árpád Híd, it was Elizabeth Bridge, Elizabeth Híd. Having shut it down, having closed the bridge down on a weekend, completely, I'm just standing there as you could never do as a normal person, and having helicopters fly over and trucks running past and gunfire. It wasn't the excitement of what we were doing. It was the satisfaction, the feeling of saying, we did it. We met with the authorities. We explained what we were going to do. We didn't change what we were going to do. We said that if we start this time and we finish this time, we will. And there was a satisfaction to know that we achieved something that maybe another company couldn't do, and maybe you couldn't do in another city. Hercules, which we just did last year, because of its scale, it reminded me of one of those Hollywood movies in the 20s and 30s, or Ben-Hur, that very large scale, hundreds of extras. And again, I remember sitting in my office at Origo Studios and looking out the window and seeing, 200 or 300 Hungarian marching men with their spears and their shields, and they're just training around the studio, and thinking, this is filmmaking. This is, and I think for me, the satisfaction comes from Budapest is my home, Hungary is my home, and therefore although I'm ashamed to say I don't speak Hungarian, I feel that I'm Hungarian in some way, and therefore anything that we're good at, I consider to be an achievement. So Hungarian extras, Hungarian camera crew, Hungarian ADs, all the different creative and physical production Hungarian parts that we work with to make a big movie. I think that's what I'm most proud of. So it's not, some films have more memories than others, but I think it's the collective. It's the feeling that we as a Hungarian film infrastructure can compete with, in my opinion, just about anybody. I remember on 47 Ronin, I was in the Arena Mall going to the cinema with some friends and going up the escalator, and I look up and there was a guy in a baseball cap and with his two other people, and I look up and it's Keanu on his own, on his day off, with his assistant and a makeup, going to the cinema. So I think it's interesting, Keanu Reeves is a star, but I couldn't imagine. I think if Bruce Willis did the same thing and he was recognized, I can imagine that it would be maybe a safety issue and just a paparazzi issue. It's an old conversation for many people, but if you're a star, that's the baggage that you carry. You're going to be followed, you're going to be photographed. My frustration in Hungary, on the behalf of the Hungarian press, is they don't get enough access. The Hungarian press are not given enough opportunity, because most of the films we do have what they call a closed set policy, which means that for privacy, confidentiality and security, they don't allow press visits. There's a press day maybe, but I get inquiries all the time. Can we do an interview with Bruce Willis or Jude Law? And 9 times out of 10, it's very difficult. So, and that feeds the paparazzi. So that instead of arranging, a formal photographic session, they'll hang from rooftops. They'll use long lenses. I mean, so in a way, I feel that you know, publicity is what sells cinema tickets. You know, that's, without publicity, you can't make a film unless you publicize it. So yes, there's official advertising, but there's no harm. You know, there's a lot of publicity in just seeing Dwayne Johnson, you know, working out, or, you know, in his costume or whatever. But no, I think that Budapest is seen by just about everybody in Hollywood and the UK and other places as a safe place in every respect. And I think that's, you know, people don't come to Budapest for the Four Seasons, but the fact we have a Four Seasons and a Nobu and all these fancy, you know, it gives the impression that, well, if you have a Four Seasons, it must be, you must be a very serious city. You know, it's a credibility